Championship Saturday from Winston-Salem on Time Warner Cable Sports Channel. It's a rematch of last year's 3A title tilt between South Point and Rocky Mount.
This guy is going to be all over the field today, number 33 for South Point, the middle linebacker, leading tackler, 152 tackles coming into today's game, but he is really going to have his hands full with this Rocky Mount offense.
Rocky Mount almost did not eat. All right, Evan, thank you, and thanks to our coaches. It's been great to work with them this week. Rocky Mount will get the football first, and South Point will be on defense. Peter, let's look at some of your keys to the game for both these sides, and let's start with South Point.
Well, I think with South Point, the offensive side of the ball, I think they need to surprise Rocky Mount's defense with a passing attack to set up a run. Not only does Rocky Mount run that triple option wing team, well, you know what? South Point also runs the triple option. This might be over in 10 minutes, this game, with all the running we might see. But, so maybe why not take them and take the pass to set up the run, maybe. And then from a defensive standpoint for South Point, you have to be sound gang tackling, led by number 33. As you see there, Nick Muse has to be running all over the field, gang tackling, pursuit, pursuit, pursuit. That's the word of the day for this defense for South Point. And over
three from BB&T Field, a great venue to be at calling a game from. It is going to be Sanders stepping in from the 10. Boy, they run to the ball, don't they? South Point led by Nick Farmer, the senior, on special teams. First down and 10 from the 18.
Oh, and that's what you want to start a game out with. The kickoff team, the kickoff of the game, a state championship game.
And have executed effectively. They're averaging 32 points per ball game, and they're not going to convert here on 3rd and 4. Nathan Hamilton stepping up to make the tackle on Sanders.
And that was a great job by Nathan Hamilton. You saw on that play what Rocky Mount.
And South Point comes out with the football on offense, running this triple option. The red bone, they call it. Nothing real finesse. Lee with the pitch. Plenty of room. First down to the 30 and a little more. Ball came loose at the last instant, but he was already wrestled down by Dentrell Reeves. Can't run the option any better than that. Nick Farmer getting the pitch.
Yeah, they went down. They crashed down on the quarterback. Good job by Scotty Lee to pitch it to the outside. Nick Farmer tried to slow step it on the outside there. Good close by Dentrell Reeves to save that touchdown. But big play for South Point deep into Rocky Mount. If they may go to the outside here.
Second down and 11. Option the other way this time. Nice run by Farmer, stiff arming. This is an offense that churns out just under 250 on the ground per ball game. Pitch again, and Farmer got nailed. He'll be shy of the first 26-yard line. And Lynch wrapped up and stopped by who else? Our star to watch, Muse.
Talking to Nick Muse this week, he told us that it's a privilege to finish this. He's high on many teams' list, Patrick. It'll be interesting to see the decision he makes in a week or two.
Their mantra has been, we played 15 games to get to the 16th, and that was this one here today. They're going to split KK Edwards out to the left in this wing T. Sanders, and he got tripped down. He'll be shy of the marker on 3rd and 1. Philip Davis, the defensive tackle, got to him. He's got 100 stops coming in. 6 foot, 305 pounds, and a junior.
Well, that was a good play by Philip Davis on the defensive line. One of the things as defensive lineman against a wing T, whenever you have a pulling lineman, you want to get right in his side hip. You want to get in his hip pocket, and that pulling lineman will take you to the ball, but you don't want to get too deep.
I don't think they got a first down, Peter, till about 8 minutes ago.
Right.
Did Highbright.
This is quite a call.
Yeah, they're going to go for it. Wow.
If you're the defensive line for South Point, you got to watch for the hard count. You don't want to jump.
Green, they loaded him in the backfield. The ball came loose. It's going to depend on the spot. Green had a touchdown run against Havelock late in the game, in that key game in overtime. Nick Farmer, from his corner spot, came up and made the tackle.
They're going to measure this one. Nick Muse did a nice job, too, to get up the field. They had the wide splits on that one. They good job at the defensive line getting penetration to force that ball to the outside and allow your brothers to come up on the perimeter and make the stop. Close enough for a measurement. Here we go.
So the chain gang will get a chance to loosen up, take the turf here at BB&T Field on a cool start the things on Championship Saturday? I think he's short.
I think so too.
Gary Ollie, our lead official, and he didn't make it.
Wow.
So a couple of turnover on downs for the respective sides, and South Point is going to start with the football on this particular possession in great field position.
You see Nick Muse coming through there, just spiking through the line, right in that C gap, making a nice hit. Great hit in the backfield to stop Rocky Mount. This is almost like a turnover. It's almost like a sudden change because you're so deep in the opponent's territory.
We'll have the football in great field position with 5:38 to go here. They're going to have it at the Rocky Mount 26. There's Farmer with a good run on first down. They're no slouches either. 6-yard pickup there, 2nd and 4. And up the middle goes Alexander. Now, he's an interesting guy as Green made the tackle on him. It'll bring up 3rd down. He just played kind of a backup role last year. Played where they needed. Here a 45-yarder in regulation and a 21-yarder in overtime in the championship game. Will attempt his 12th field goal of the year. It is up, and it is perfect. 3-0. South Point goes on the board with 3:32 to go on a 29-yard field goal. It's got to feel good for Limper.
Well, it does, and if South Point wanted to get on the board first, they've done that after a good job by their defense, stopping Rocky Mount on 4th and inches in their own territory, turning it around. But then Rocky Mount does a great job of stopping South Point as well, and forcing them to...
On his 8th kick return of the year, he's actually the big hitter on the kick return.
Who does that benefit? We'll see.
Sanders trying to kick it out to get yardage, and he's going to be pursued there out to the 36. Max Mead got him after he gained 4. Of the teams I've seen this year, they're in the top 5, but they're number 1, at least in my opinion, of teams that run to the football on defense. Rocky Mount's in that top 5, as we've seen here, of teams I've seen this year in person, but this South Point team gets to the football in a hurry.
Coach Lineberger says you got to be a team of heat-seeking missiles on D.
Time for Lynch. He's going to throw, though, and it's going to be intercepted, picked off at the 30. Nice job by Nick Farmer to snag his 14th, or rather 4th interception of the year. This is a South Point team that is big on the turnover margin. They came in plus 12.
Well, you know, when you run that wing T, you can create matchups on the outside with single coverage. That's what they had there. Nick Farmer does a great job with body position, and then he attacks the ball at its highest point. Technically sound job by a cornerback in Nick Farmer for a great interception and turnover for the South Point team.
South of this game early on, their own 30-yard line. Started a 1st and 15 hole on this possession. Option again. This time it's Alexander with plenty of real estate. Hurdles a man. He's ahead to the 35. White was the man who finally got to him, but not before a pickup of 11 yards.
And Larry Dowdy, the left tackle for South Point, does a great job on the near side edge to set it and allow Jake Alexander to get free on that pitch by Scotty Lee. You see, with a good quarterback in Scotty Lee, he can scan the defense.
And put 40 seconds back on the clock. Sanders gets chased down from behind. They'll lose another 5 on 1st and 15. Matthew Robinson, the junior defensive end, gets his 11th tackle for loss of the year.
Yeah, and Matthew Robinson was able to make that play. As you see right here coming into your screen, Nick Muse he just gets up that C gap easily, and it forces B.J. Sanders to give a little ground, allowing Matt Robinson to gain ground in the backfield for the tackle for loss. Nice job by Nick Muse identifying the play.
Third down, Lynch in trouble. Lynch is going to go down. Sacked by Robinson. And for Robinson, that is his 6th sack of the year.
He came off the line of scrimmage like he was shot out of a cannon. You see him here, he just came to the inside. He was lined up to the outside C gap and then kind of pitched to the inside. I think actually he was almost head up on the tackle. Then he came pitched to the inside. The gaps were already wide. The splits were already wide for the offense.
About 43, South Point will take over, up 3-zip. And again, it has been a field day on that perimeter for Nick Farmer, who got knocked out of bounds, but he might have been the one delivering the lick to Rivas there.
Well, you know what, Patrick? The defenders from Rocky Mount, although they are very fast, are not taking the proper angle on the pitch man. They're getting inside the pitch man, They're not working outside in, they're working inside.
Little end around there, and a nice job. They had it snipped out. Collins could get nowhere. Nick Muse made the stop.
Well, you know what? The reason why that's not working on that play, and it's been a consistent theme for this game, Nick Muse running to the football, unabated to the running back, because offensive linemen aren't making plays in space.
Rocky Mount's 0 for 3 on 3rd down. Lynch in trouble. Lynch swallowed up by the big defensive tackle Davis. He'll go down. Sack for Davis. What pressure that front was putting on.
Well, nice job, partner. You watch Davis. I watched the defensive backfield on this play. As you see the pressure put on by Davis there. Everybody getting off of blocks, but in the defensive backfield, great coverage by South Point, not allowing
away. At the end of last year, Davis was huge in that game for South Point. Had a big tackle in the 4th quarter. Was that?
Well, more than halfway through the 2nd quarter here. A flag comes in.
It's a legal shift. Dedication.
Well, the South Point folks not real happy. Lynch. Lots of time. Lynch going to keep it. Ran into a man, and Lynch right with the scramble there. Ended up getting 3 yards, or rather Lynch. And nothing that time. That might have been a little cavalier for 3rd and short.
Yeah, that was just a quarterback dive right into Philip Davis.
Don't they? Pitch in the backfield. Sanders again trying to run away, and Sanders is going to get chased down. Just as you say that, the defense on cue for South Point had a nice job to run him down by the corner, Brandon.
Yeah, nice job by Mario Brandon. 59 tackles coming into today's game, and just one of those things where, you know what, you had a big play go against you, you got to forget about it. Because from a defensive standpoint, if something bad happens to you on 1st down, you got to forget about it, because on 2nd down, it's going to happen.
Sanders is the lone back. The wingbacks, Williams and Collins. Nothing doing there on the ground. Robinson, the initial pursuer. With a little bit of help from Lawrence Haley, the other defensive end.
Yeah, Robinson there, Nick Muse there as well. And you're asking Charlie Williams, who just had that nice catch in the outlet the play before, to block.
After these words, we'll be back.
Offensive line, I want to see wide splits, and I want to see if they can get Jake Alexander on a quick hit up the middle in the first play of the 2nd half.
Meade off the bounce here on the turf from the 15. Meade with room. Meade to the 45. Midfield, stayed in bounds. Meade with a huge return inside the 35-yard line, and what a way to start things for South Point, a special teams play.
Special teams are such a huge part of any football team at any level. And as you see Max Meade, the senior, picking his way through. Good blocks, everybody staying in there, getting out of the lanes for Rocky Mount. Nick Meade scanning the field in front of him, making the right cuts, staying in bounds, getting into Rocky Mount territory to start this half.
46-yard kickoff return. And here comes out of the locker room. Alexander up the middle. He got tripped up. Boy, a shoestring tackle was made there by that lineman for Rocky Mount. Actually, it was White, the linebacker. And had he not got a hold of that shoestring, he'd have been off to the races.
That was gone, and that's the thing. We talked about it, partner. They came out with those wide splits, and they went.
They go to Alexander again, and Alexander has a 1st down to the 22-yard line.
So this is how they started. This is how they played the game against Pisgah a couple of weeks ago when we saw them, when we broadcast their game. They came out with the...
Lee with Alexander behind him. Alexander gonna be close again.
I think the 2nd effort allowed him to get that. Everybody was piling into the middle. You have a ton of garbage and trash, and he picks up the 1st down with the 2nd effort. Jake Alexander did it. That guard was probably so, his eyes were probably wide, saying this is going to be there with that down block coming.
Pitch this time to Alexander, and he will roll over a man at the 20. And Jake Alexander has been the guy who has gotten the football a significant amount here. Every carry has gone to Alexander here.
Try is here.
35-yard try with an angle, and it will be good. So that makes it 7-6 with 8:16 to go. All in all, though, I'd say another victory for this Rocky Mount defense.
Well, I think so, because it started out, the momentum, they had the momentum coming into second half that was taken right away from them on the opening kickoff as South Point takes it into Rocky Mount territory. And they have a couple of big runs early by Jay, a couple of yards, which should have been a loss for about 4 or 5.
Second and long. From the 24-yard line. Rocky Mount taking their time. Oh, low snap by Lynch. Ball loose. Is it going to be the second Griffon's turnover? Yes, it is.
And the crowd reacts. Hey, you know, coming into today's game, this South Point defense has forced 32 turnovers this year. That's their 30. They're coming in at 1 in the first half as well, so 34 for the year. It's a bad snap, just a bad snap. I don't know if the quarterback wasn't ready for it. Center snapped it too quickly, down on his knees. Remained to be seen, but still, South Point. Sudden change for this Rocky Mount defense.
Tyler Canterbury, 2nd and 8. After the turnover. Boy, they are really going to Jake Alexander here. Green and white, the linebackers.
Yeah, and they
For South Point.
And quite the pedigree. Third down here. They're 0 for their last 4, as we mentioned, on third down, but Alexander breaks that streak alone, getting inside the 10. Wow. That is determined running, isn't it?
with 10 guys in the box, I would say so. They had Nick Muse flanked out to the near side, and they had everybody in the box. Tight splits on the offensive line. Offensive line gets down. They stay low. They get on their blocks, allowing Jake Alexander to pick up.
3rd and goal from the 7. Lee going to roll the pocket. Lee fires for the end zone, and it is caught for the score. What a grab by Greer. He actually came out of the end zone to get it, but then tiptoed his way back in.
Greg Greer with his 3rd TD of the year. He's the leading receiver, 2nd leading receiver on the team. It was man-to-man coverage on the outside. He read the leverage of the quarterback battle on that play. He saw he was playing off of him. So in his route, he adjusted, made about 4 or 5 steps up the field, and then bent out to the flat. And a good job by Scotty Lee finding that position and making a crisp throw.
Well, the kick now makes it 13-7. Don't know if they would consider going for 2 there. But with 4:39 remaining here in the 3rd, the turnover proving costly for Rocky Mount. The first completion of the day for Scotty Lee, and it's his 13th touchdown throw of the season.
To me, it looked like an option route at the onset because, and that's what we talk about, quarterbacks read coverage, wide receivers, they read leverage. So Ray Greer saw the leverage on him with the cornerback battle. He saw how far off he was playing, and he'd be able to just sit down right before the end zone. Scotty Lee switches the launch point to the outside to give him that lane, to give him that open passing lane. And a nice job by Jake Alexander, you saw on the replay, from his running back position, got to the edge and picked up the outside defender, again, to keep Scotty Lee untouched.
Halftime. Rivas from the 10, backpedaling. Ran into Sanders, and he's going to get dropped. Ball came loose, but Sanders was able to get on it, I believe.
Yes. You are correct, sir.
9 yards on the return, and this is where it went a little sideways.
He wasn't down yet.
You know, so from the 19, they're going to put Lynch under center this time. Try to cross-block. Nothing. Phillips. Wow, on Charlie Williams III.
Mr. Davis, how do you do? 305 pounds. He's been owning the middle of the field today so far. He gets to the backfield. Even with the blocker on him, still makes a huge play like that. Just causes all the commotion. When you have a defensive lineman stay as low as he does, Whew. Get in the backfield, not get too far up because it's a broken play at that time.
Gain of 8. Rocky Mount has completed their last 2 third downs. Jet sweep. Absolutely nothing for Collins.
Closing so fast on Alexander at the mesh point.
Here goes Farmer. Farmer got off to the hot start, but they've kind of bottled him up after those initial 2 South Point drives. He's able to make it out to the 41 before Rivas got to him. Pick up a 5. It'll be 3rd and short.
What's very underrated in the option offense is how good the quarterback has to be at the mesh. The South Point only rushing 3.
Lynch, 6 of 9. Pressure. Lynch loses the football. South Point has it. Or do they? Nope, going to be 4th down. Haley pried it loose. South Point trying to put this away, and here's a big run. 1st down. Alexander inside the 10. Brought down at the 11-yard line, they say, by Rivas. Wow.
It's an awakening. It's an awakening. Maybe it'd have to say, maybe we should get that ball to Alexander a little more, and certainly they do. Great job on the inside with the down blocks, with the inside guys, Marcus Braswell, David Keck, the center, allowing Alexander to get free, get to the near side boundary, up the boundary, and out the door for a huge gain. 1st and 10. Around a good job playing with the eye discipline of the backers.
Just 2 of 9 on 3rd down of the Griffons. Lynch. Sacked. Back at the 26-yard line. Jeremy Leeper. How about that?
Jeremy Leeper, 5'8", 198-pound senior, had 1 sack coming into today's game. That may have been the biggest sack of his career. Huge play on 3rd down and long.
Loss of 8, and with 7 minutes to go, they're going to go for it on 4th down and 17.
Well, this is where you play off. You got to do, keep everything in front of you if you're South Point. Know where the sticks are.
6-point game. Lynch going down back to the line of scrimmage. He could have taken off downfield. He also had some men and some teammates downfield, and it's Philip Davis who's wreaked havoc this afternoon in on the stop.
There you go, Mr. Davis again. Another sack for him, the 305-pound junior, 6 foot. Man, he's only a junior. Just working to see good pressure put on the outside by Matt Robinson, forcing Lynch out of his comfort zone, had to get to the outside, not before Davis is there to take him down as South Point takes over.
4th time in the game. Bring up 2nd down as Nick Farmer is stopped by Green.
This is where, if you're South Point, you take advantage of the play clock, and there's no need to snap it until that clock is at 1.
Still a lot of time, though. There's over 3 minutes to go in this game.
12 seconds on the play clock.
Limperer again from 7 out. It's a 24-yarder. This one is good. I waited.
Nice. Hey, you know, the big play by the defense gives the offense a short field. They do what they need to do. The Rocky Mount defense does a nice job preventing them from getting into the end zone. But Rocky Mount and, South Point and the special teams do it again, another 3 points to make it a two-score football game.
Again, I think manageable here with what we know about Miller. You got to score quickly.
Yes.
But I think if it's a 2-touchdown game, the thought process is a little different than it is right now.
Yep. And that was just good. Was that?
Yeah.
I mean, depth.
Lynch going to keep it himself, and Lynch going to get dropped. They went back to the well on that spread play.
Guess who?
Philip Davis.
He has been active. He's been there all day. Philip Davis not only gets great separation as a defensive lineman, but he knows how to get off a block.
Rocky Mount burned their penultimate timeout. See if they take one here, which would be their final. Alexander with another carry. Thomas Battle. Alexander with 23 carries in the second half alone. 26 on the game. 132 yards now rushing for Alexander.
And one of the things that looking at statistically and such, and you saw that the defense for Rocky Mount created 23 turnovers this year, which is a very, very big number.
Alexander, and he's going to be really close.
And you're right, partner. They really have played a great defensive football game. Just in such a game as close as this, with as talented as both teams are, just little mistakes and calls and plays are going to be magnified. And you can't look at your season coming down to 1 or 2 plays. You had a great, great season at 13-2. If you're Rocky Mount, obviously the game isn't over, but heading in that direction.
Well, this determines whether you have to run one more play or take a knee.
Want to take a stab at it before they call it? We got it.
Yep. Bedlam in Belmont.
They talked about it all off season. This is what they thought of. Coach Lineberger thought it. Says, I'm going to be honest, guys. I've been thinking about last year's game for 365 days, and it's actually 372 days to the day when they lost to Rocky Mount in the state championship last year.
Trophy to that case, and it has been since '79 when they won their first one, 1 in 03, 1 in 09, and here a championship that was fueled by a loss over a year ago.
Fueled by a loss, they lost 24 seniors off of last year's squad, and they came into today's, and since then they've won 9 straight, outscored opponents 48-1. They've done a great job, and it's all academic at this point, as South Point are state champs.
They're your 2016 3A champions. Coach Lineberger, you couldn't be happier for a guy who has a lot of great colloquialisms and sayings and just does a really nice job of managing his staff and managing these players. He really has a great staff, and he really talked a lot about them and the work they put in, which Evan displayed and talked about this week. We'll come back. We'll hear from the victorious coach, Mickey Lineberger. Big win today for South Point as they defeat Rocky Mount by 9. They claim the 2016 3A championship and avenge last year's defeat to Rocky Mount in a rematch of that 2015 game. Evan Budrovich down there somewhere with the victorious Mickey Lineberger. Evan? All right, don't think we have Coach Lineberger. I think Evan's communication down there. Need to get, Mike might have frozen down there, but Evan is with Coach Lineberger, and we'll try to bring you some of those comments a little bit later on. Nonetheless, a happy group of Red Raiders down there after this win. Down 3, or all 4, make that at halftime. Big second half, and they put it on the shoulders of Alexander.
Well, Jake Alexander with 1,700 yards on the year, their leading carrier coming into this game, and heck, you know, you didn't see much from him in that first half. They tried to work the perimeters against Rocky Mount a lot. They did a pretty good job of it. Then Rocky Mount adjusted, making sure that South Point doesn't expose the perimeter, so they set the edge themselves. And then after that big touchdown by Rocky Mount going into halftime against South Point with a nice pass down the middle of the field to Battle, South Point got in the locker room and said, guys, we need to make some adjustments here, and here's what we need to do. And they did a great job coming out. They came out with the big splits. That's what I was looking for in the first half. I want the big splits on the offensive line and forced the defense of Rocky Mount to make a play on a running back like Jake Alexander up the middle of the football field. And that kickoff return was huge for them from a momentum standpoint, and then Jake Alexander took over in the second.
Absolutely he did. He finishes this championship game rushing for 135 yards. For Peter Montemurno and Evan Budrovich, our entire Time Warner Cable Sports crew, I'm Patrick Johnson. 16 3A state football champions.